never really thought about it that way when it comes to whales.
Well, you can make a really good and really controversial case.
They made a movie. Ron Howard made a movie.
Yeah,
So
Ron
it's
Howard
like a
made a movie on this.
visualization of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look, I mean, they were everywhere. Wow. So these guys harpoon one.
That's so crazy.
From the whaleboat. Then they get tugged along.
Look at all these whales.
And then, while they're out, maybe a mile from the ship, the mate of the whale that was harpooned starts ramming the ship. Rams it 3 times.
Oh, no.
Sinks it.
Oh, no.
Now, you got a couple dozen guys in whale boats 2,000 miles off the coast of South America with no supplies.
Oh,
so,
man.
What happens, and this is all in the preface, but the story basically starts when one of the whale boats is discovered not far from, I think it's Venezuela, and the guys look over the gunnel of their boat, and in the whale boat, it's just like a giant carcass. It's just bleached bones all in it, except for 2 quasi-humans, one in the stern and one in the bow, each skeletons, huddled up, staring each other with wild eyes, just waiting to see who would die next.
So they could eat them.
Yeah. And there were rules. They were almost like cookbooks that were very common.
How many people were on these boats?
Double check me, Jamie, but I think there were probably a dozen on each one. Many family members. There was a cabin boy named John Coffin, I remember, and there were, I mean, a lot of these guys were related, and they were dear friends and family. They lived together on Nantucket.
And they ate each other.
They ate each other, man.
Ooh, how long was it before they discovered them?
They were at sea, adrift, I think, for the better part of 3 months. Went into the national. That's him, Nate Philbrook. Fantastic. In 1820, the whale ship Essex was rammed and sunk by an angry sperm whale, leaving the desperate crew to drift for more than 90 days in 3 tiny boats.
When did this movie come out?
2015 for the movie. The manuscript was found in 1960, verified in 1980.
Oh my God.
Released in 84.
Dude, you want to take a deep dive, go to the Whaling Museum up in New England. This stuff is in the day, there were strict protocols on how to eat your friend, how to prepare your friend for consumption.
Did they devise them on the spot, or did they have them prepared? They devised it on the spot?
There was, the rules? No, they were written. It was like a maritime code.
So they kind of knew that this was a possibility.
They knew it was a certainty. They just didn't know for whom. Oh. This was common. To find yourself with a group of people hopelessly marooned, whether you're on a boat or an island with nothing to eat at all. There were protocols, pretty strict protocols on how to draw lots to decide who would go first, how to kill the person who would go first, who not to eat based on the degree of your relation.
Oh, boy.
So, like, brothers are definitely off. Oh. But cousins, not optimal.
Oosh.
So, like, people were being prepared for consumption.
Eating them raw?
I can't imagine how you would make a fire out there.
Oh, my God.
Unspeakable.
Oh, my God.
That's interesting. Owen Chase, right.
The men spent over 3 months at sea and had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive. Captain Pollard and Charles Ramsdell were discovered gnawing on the bones of their shipmates in one boat. Owen Chase, Lawrence, and Nickerson also survived to tell the tale. In all, 7 sailors were consumed. Whoa!
Dude.
Boy.
See, this is why nonfiction is the best.
Ooh.
I know it's nauseating, but I mean, that book.
At a point in time, you got to go, I might wind up in hell before I starve to death because I've eaten everyone else. Right? Well, you're knowing you're starving to death and you've already eaten everyone else. Oh, my God. Because there's going to be one last person.
There's got to, and then there was one.
Oh, God.
I know. I know.
Reality is so terrifying in that regard that we have, we're so fortunate that there's so much food available. The poorest amongst us are fat. But the reality is, if that cut off, it would be real desperate real quick.
Yeah.
Most people get really hungry after 5 hours,
They feel really
I
hungry.
found a description if you'd like to read
No.
it. No?
Okay.
That's not that bad.
Okay. The crew, according to Chase, separated limbs from his body and cut all the flesh from the bones, after which we opened the body, took out the heart, and then closed it again, sewed it up as decently as we could, and committed it to the sea. They then ate the man's organs. Soon they began to draw lots to see who would be shot and eaten next, a custom of maroon sailors dating back to the 17th century. 3 men in one boat survived and 2 in another. The 3 men who remained behind on Henderson Island were also rescued after surviving on eggs and crabs for nearly 4 months. Boy.
And this is why we have Moby Dick.
Wow.
This is why the greatest American novel, arguably, of all time was written, because Melville came from that part of the world, and he understood the stakes of hunting whales, and he understood the absolute imperative need to get energy